So picture this. What if the US military just went into another country, captured its sitting president, and flew them out? It sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, today, we're going to break down a pretty startling analysis that explores exactly how that could happen to Venezuela's president, and more importantly, what that would mean for the rest of the world.
Okay, so this is the headline that kicks everything off. This is the central shocking claim from the source material we're looking at. Imagine waking up to this news alert on your phone. It's the kind of scenario that would send massive shockwaves across the entire globe, and it's the foundation for everything we're about to dive into.
All right, so let's be super clear right from the start. What we're breaking down here is a hypothetical. It's a what-if scenario. The source material is painting a picture where the United States has launched a large-scale bombing of Caracas and has captured President Nicolás Maduro. This hasn't actually happened, but we're exploring the analysis of how it could.
I mean, just think about the sheer scale of this hypothetical operation. We're not talking about some quiet, covert mission. We're talking about a direct assault on a nation's capital city, which then results in its leader being physically taken away to stand trial under another country's laws. This would be a completely unprecedented event in modern history.
Okay, so you're probably asking, how on earth could a mission this audacious even be possible? Well, the analysis doesn't just give us the explosive outcome, it actually points to a very specific, very elite military unit that it claims would be the one to pull it off. And that unit is Delta Force. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, this is basically the U.S. Army's top-tier, premier special ops unit. According to the breakdown in our source, when you have a mission that seems impossible, that's incredibly complex, and politically just explosive, these are the guys who get the call. And if you're wondering why them, well, the source points to their resume, and it is stacked. We're talking about the raid that killed Osama bin Laden, the operation that took out the leader of ISIS, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Their history is filled with these high-stakes, impossible missions deep inside foreign territory. And it's this track record that makes their hypothetical involvement in Venezuela seem plausible within the story we're examining.
But this is where the story gets much bigger than just one military operation. The analysis argues that an action like this would fundamentally rewrite the rules of the game for international relations. So we're moving past the tactical how did they do it and into the much bigger, much scarier strategic question, so what?
And this really gets to the heart of the matter. The source points out that even American geopolitical analysts would see this as setting an incredibly dangerous precedent. The fear isn't just about this one action. It's that this wouldn't be the end of the story, but the starting gun for a whole new, much more aggressive era in global politics.
Yeah, this slide makes that here really concrete, doesn't it? The logic presented in the source is pretty straightforward. If the US can say it has the right to go into Caracas and grab a head of state, what's to stop Russia from trying to do the same thing in Ukraine? Or what's to stop China from applying that exact same logic to leaders in Taiwan? The whole idea of national sovereignty just gets thrown right out the window.
Now, an event this huge obviously doesn't happen in a vacuum. It creates waves that travel all over the world. So let's look at those ripple effects, the immediate international backlash, and of course, the huge economic stakes that are involved.
And that political fallout would be instant and fierce. The analysis cites Russia, a major ally of Venezuela, as condemning the act not just as simple aggression, but as a kind of modern imperialism, basically a blatant power grab for resources.
And when you hear that phrase, grab for resources, well, this chart shows you exactly what that could mean. This isn't just about any country. Venezuela has the single largest proven oil reserves on planet Earth. That's more than Saudi Arabia, more than anyone. The analysis suggests this economic fact would be seen as a huge, unspoken motive behind the whole hypothetical operation.
So why should the rest of the world care? Well, any major disruption to Venezuela's oil supply is going to send global energy prices haywire. The analysis specifically points out that huge importing countries, like India for example, could see their economies get hit really hard. It just goes to show how a conflict in the Caribbean could be felt in households all the way over in Asia.
And that brings us, finally, to the country at the center of it all, Venezuela itself. In the aftermath of something this catastrophic, the analysis says the nation's military would be left facing a massive decision, one that would literally decide the future of the country. According to the source, there are two and only two paths forward. Path one is cooperation. They could stand down, avoid any more bloodshed, and let the political opposition form a new government, which would probably be friendly to U.S. interests. Path two is resistance. Fight back. But the analysis suggests that would trigger just devastating, heavy bombing from U.S. forces. It's a choice between surrender and total destruction, and the stakes for the Venezuelan people could not possibly be higher.
So, in the end, this whole deconstruction of a hypothetical scenario leaves us with this one giant question. What happens when one nation's show of strength completely redraws the rules for everyone else? The analysis suggests that when a powerful country decides it can act without consequences, it doesn't just solve one problem. It creates a brand new and much more dangerous and unpredictable world for all of us.